Welcome back to Navigating Your Corporate Career. We are in part three for Senior Executives, session two. Now let's go to the presentation. I am Christopher Lewis. To learn more about me, you can check my LinkedIn page at www.linkedin.com/in/Chris Lewis TT. To start our session two, we are looking at an overview of the job of a senior executive. Firstly, your job is not to fit in. Chances are you were hired or you were promoted because important changes are needed at this time in the organization, or there's a new direction to be pursued and effective leadership is required. While it is important to understand the culture of the organization you are in, you are ideally positioned as a senior executive to influence positive changes in that culture where it may be warranted and to reduce any toxicity that may exist at the time. So don't be shy to enact changes. Just be respectful. Always think of the value you are adding to the company. Much of that value will probably come from doing things differently from the way they were always done before. So make a difference. Make a difference in developing and achieving the strategic plan. If there may be an existing plan, perhaps there are some recommendations which you would like to make to the board. Make a difference in achieving your personal metrics, because if you achieve your personal metrics as a senior executive, the whole organization benefits in customer satisfaction, employee satisfaction, in the organization culture that you leave behind as your legacy, in the image of the organization and the public perception, in long-term growth and survival of the organization as a going concern, and in corporate reporting, the data analytics, the type of information you get out of the data that is collected on a daily basis. Sometimes you may have to set boundaries regarding your personal space, use of your time, scheduling of meetings, doing work that it may be far removed from your job description, being committed to projects without consultation by yourself, which may cause conflicts in terms of time and in terms of resource management, setting of impossible deadlines. No sense telling you that you have a deadline and you know to yourself a deadline cannot be met. It is best when deadlines are set that there be consultation between both parties, the one who's setting the deadline and the one who's receiving the deadline. Being uncomfortable around certain types of conversations. So when that boundary is crossed, you need to indicate just as much. How do you work effectively with a board? Key from my experience is having a professional working relationship with the chairperson, whoever that may be, communicating in detail regularly with them, keeping them informed of everything of importance so that there are no surprises in the public domain. Observe the company and board protocols scrupulously. Give your best advice at all times, even if it's not the advice that members of the board would like to hear. But if in your considered opinion, this is your best recommendation, don't be afraid to make it. Do your research and vetting and always bring quality information to the board, either from yourself or from the management team through you to the board. Keep your reporting succinct, highlighting the key variables that will be of interest to the members of the board. And also, as a senior executive, it is very important that you keep abreast of industry news, customer issues, market trends, and so on that may or may not impact on the company, and bring all such relevant information as quickly as you can to the attention of the board through the chair. How do you deal with what I call a negative energy board, a board that may seem to be unproductive or going contrary to principles of good governance? Always remember, your fiduciary responsibility as a senior executive is with the organization in which you belong and not the board. Try to maintain a productive professional relationship at all times with your chairperson. Always present new proposals in writing and with proper analysis, because with a negative energy board, you're sure you'll get opposition. So do your research, have your facts right. Dot all your I's, cross your T's. If conflict arises between a board decision and your view of the best interests of the organization, explain this conflict in writing, preferably through your chairman to the board, and seek clarification of the board decision. Never act on a board decision unless it is received in writing, either as official minutes of the board meeting or as a note from the corporate secretary, an extract, so to speak, of decisions taken at a board meeting. Never act on a board decision that is of questionable legality or, in your opinion, is outright illegal. Should the situation become untenable, that's a signal that you need to move on or to work in another environment for your sanity and to protect your integrity. So what does a day in the life of a senior executive look like? Of course, depending on the executive or the company that you lead or the industry you are in, other factors, each person's day could be very different, but it may include one or more of the following things. Number one, I like to start off with, time is your most precious asset, so use it wisely and productively. Thinking of new ways to do things, new opportunities to pursue, new projects to embark on, interacting with key personnel, customers, suppliers, staff, getting a lay of the land, understanding what is going on, what matters in the organization, analyzing trends, data, projects, dealing with pressing HR, IR issues. I spoke about this in session 1. Always prioritize HR, IR issues. Creating reports for submission to the board, reading pertinent reports, developing new methods of reporting. Sometimes companies are caught in a rut and one report is presented the same way for the last 10 years or so. Occasionally, it's time to change. Overseeing ongoing projects, clearing paperwork, and doing relevant online research. So I thank you for viewing, and I invite you to check out part 3, session 3, which will conclude part 3. Remember too that there's a separate video called Lessons for All, which applies to all 3 parts, and you're also invited to look at that video. And please don't forget to subscribe to this channel.